Hey guys, hello everyone. This was our last class we did on photo editing. Unfortunately, the class was not recorded, but because a lot of people have asked me how do I get a recording, so I decided to do a very short recap on everything we did yesterday in order to get this result we got in picture editing. So I'm going to start from the scratch. To let's go about with this. I'll start from the scratch. I'm going to reset this. And of course, so there we have it. We have this image. This is basically what we are editing today. Alright, so like I mentioned, the most important thing you understand while editing a picture is three things. First, understand how the lighting works. Secondly, understand how the color works and how the presence or details works. Right, basically. So most important thing you must see in a picture before you get to edit it is the first thing is that how do you want to how do you want to edit it? Yeah, it could be because you want to make it pop a little bit. You want to make it pop, you want it to be a little more cool. That's the first thing. Another reason why could also be that maybe you want to pop out the colors, right, or make a picture colors come out more prominent. So without wasting so much time, let's dive right into it. So over here we have our panel and everything. This is not the Lightroom editing. We use Lightroom to edit, and exactly what you are seeing here is what you get to see on your phone while you are editing. The only difference is that this is a desktop, a system version. Your phone would not be as as broad as this, of course. But then the editing, the everything here exactly is the same with that on your phone. So diving right into it, over here we have of course, starting with this, temperature and heat is like the first thing you get to see while using your PC. But then I'm going to leave that to when I'm talking about colors that comes temperature and heat. I'll go to the first thing here, which is tone, which is the light tone of your picture, how bright, basically how you control your lighting in your picture. The very first thing here you have is exposure, and exposure deals with the general brightness or darkness of your image. As you can see, the more I increase it, it affects the full image. So if your image is overexposed, with these settings you can decide to reduce the exposure or increase the exposure. Now this all depends on how handy you want to get. If you want to take it to be very much, that's on you. You want to reduce it, still on you. I also mentioned in the class that you must not toggle everything. Before you start editing a picture, you must know what you want to achieve right before you dive into your editing software. All right. So first things first, I talk about exposure, and then for me for this picture, I'm going to drop it down by 0.2. I like the way it is now. And the next thing here is contrast. Contrast basically just tells you, gives you a clear distinction on the lighting. How do I explain now? Contrast as the word implies, it's the difference in colors, the difference in light rather. So if I'm seeing white, I'm seeing black, that is enough contrast. And see those two colors very prominently. So using contrast here, basically telling you how well I can make all the colors in my picture. I can make them distinct from each other. So without talking to me, just talking so much. Increasing my contrast here, you can see, but then reducing it, we can also see that the colors are more prominent. And then don't get it wrong, there's a difference between intensity and presence of color. Well, I'll just move on. One important beautiful thing about editing is that there is no particular way on how to edit a picture. If you might want to make it whatever way you want to do, whatever way you want, just get it that through the editing there's no one way or one pattern. You must not talk about everything. It's depending on what you want to achieve before you dive into the picture. The next one you have is highlights. And what exactly is highlights? Highlight deals with the white part of your picture. Just the white part, right? Just the white part. But then the other one you are seeing, which is shadows, is the dark part of the picture. How do I explain? Let me show you here. Right on track. The first thing here is highlights. So if I'm killing my highlights, I'm realizing that the dark part, the white part of the picture, which is the clouds, their teeth, the lighting there has been reduced. Of course, their forehead and all. But then when I'm increasing it in the other hand, you can see that it's having, effects on just the bright part of the picture, right? Not trying to waste so much time, but I'm basically just you get it. So what I do most when I take pictures of outside, I like taking my this thing. So what's the word now? I like taking my highlights, be using it so that I can get details, especially of the clouds, right? And get details of the cloud, and it is seamless. I like it. What am I trying to say? When you get to reduce the highlights of a picture that is they took out to outside, it just reducing those parts that are extremely white, right? That's basically that for that. So moving on, shadows talks about the dark part like I mentioned. So reducing it gives the dark part a little more, and increasing it, it's not, and increasing it does the opposite. So what I do is I reduce my highlights and increase my shadows. Why do I do that? Because most of the times my pictures are as simple as some of the parts are actually a little bit white, and then I want the dark sides of the picture, like under their jaw is looking dark a little bit. All those small places have shadows. I just don't want it to be so dark. So I take it forward a little bit. That's why I use my shadows. Remember, you must not cover everything. In some cases, I don't get to touch it, right? All depending on what you want to do. Moving on, white and blacks. White is basically like the elder brother to highlight, right? White is basically the elder brother to highlight, while black is like the elder brother to shadows. All right. The first on the list is, let me do this. Let me show you how white affects. So you can see that white actually does what highlight does, but in a higher dimension. Higher dimension. I feel like I'm in Naruto now, but basically, white. If me increasing my white, you can see the effect, right? And then me reducing my black or increasing my black. It's just what shadows does, but a little more advanced, right? So like I mentioned, all of this is just boils down to you, how well you want to make your picture appear. All right, so that is just that for this. You can see that when I press letter Y, I see it before and the after. Now you can see the small tiny change that we've made, even if it wasn't so much, but you can see the change that we have made. All right, moving on. The next we have here is present. I'm coming to colors. I'll talk about temperature and tint. But next we have here is present, and present talks about texture, clarity, and dehaze. I won't explain so much, but texture, I've oftentimes talked on how the edges, how rough and smooth the picture is, of course, and then also actually affects the edges of the picture, making it, more crisp. Let me show you how that works. You can see I'm increasing my texture and seeing what happens, reducing my texture, and also seeing what happens, right? So without wasting too much time, the reason why I all of these things, why texture, it's quite important, and why you understand when and how to use it, is just not every, I mentioned before, it's not everything you want to toggle, right? So take for example, you're taking a picture of an elderly person, then I would advise that you use enough texture, because that feel of this old crisp feel actually makes a lot of sense for elderly persons. But for younger persons, I'm not advice, especially for the ones that have big forehead and plenty of pimples. Maybe you might want to not stay there, but you may want to reduce your texture, so their face will not be looking very very detailed to all their whatever. So having said that, next in the list is clarity. After talking about talking about temperature, is clarity. Clarity is like detail, or it's like texture rather. Or the only difference is that for clarity, it also affects the lighting. Yeah, it makes it more or less, the part that is more like amplifies the contrast, making it more thick English. But just let's look at it here. So reducing my clarity, I'm using how the colors dilate is it direct now? How the light of the different colors of the image, how they blend together, right? But then doing it, taking to the other side, I'm seeing how the contrast becomes more solid, right? That is clarity here. It just helps making your picture stand alone and more. Right? In most cases, if you want to get a dreamy feel, this is a dreamy feel, a dreamy feel of a picture, and then matching turning to white and black and giving this very beautiful feel. But that's not the point for today. Thank you very much. I just want to make up and edit this picture to just pop, to just appear better, right? So back on track. Okay, yeah. The next we have here is DHs, right? And then what is DHs? Now DHs is just all of these things talks about how well you want your picture to be present. So giving that dramatic ambient feel, DAs does that for you. So reduce my DAs is what I get, and increase my DAs, this is what I get. Don't get it twisted. Right. So DAs still makes art the present of your picture. Right. Moving on, making it fast. Now we have here is vibrance and saturation. What is vibrance? In a nutshell, vibrance talks about the dull parts, the dull colors of your image. While saturation talks about all the colors of your image. How does that work? When I include my vibrance, the dull part of your image pops out a little bit more. Or when I increase my saturation, take it back to 0. When I increase my double tap it, take it to 0. Saturation talks about the entire colors of your image. So most times I don't touch saturation, I just touch vibrance. So the colors that are very dull pops out a little more in my image. So having said that, I'm moving on to the next, which is we didn't touch contours because it's a little bit advanced. We left that, then we went to color mix. And basically color mix is that Lightroom splitted the colors into different things. You can see here red, yellow, orange, all these things. So yeah, basically, and then each color here have 3 things that are quite important, right? We have hue, saturation, and luminance. They are quite important. First one I have here is hue. Hue talks about colors. Hue is another name for colors. What this means is that every color has 2 extremes. So I can decide to mess up my color left and right, but it is not non-destructive. So if you don't know how to use it, it might end up destroying your image. Alright. So I advise that you touch hue when it's necessary. For example, I will not touch the red of this picture or the orange because it's in their face. So touching my orange now, my red might mess up the colors on your face, which is being human. You probably wear a blue jacket, then I can do that, right? But for other colors, just be careful what you are doing. That's hue. Hue means that every color has 2 extremes. This is orange. Yeah, you can see that, and it happens with the other one we can see here. Saturation is, like I mentioned before, it's the overall color of your picture, like I mentioned. So now this is what makes it fun, is that I can decide to increase saturation of a particular kind of of a particular kind of of the particular color that we selected here. Why you have yellow, so I can decide to increase just the saturation of just the yellows. You can see just that particular color that we have, right? So without wasting too much time, so what I want to do for this picture, I will go to my blues. I want the sky to pop a little bit more. Then I want to take my hue towards the side, not too much. I want to take it almost here. Then I'll maybe increase my luminance a little bit. I have this. I like this, right? And then for my orange, I decided to want to take it a little bit, saturation small, then luminance a little bit more, so your face will pop out, a little bit. And back to temperature and shades. I'll explain it in a nutshell. Temperature, like we have mentioned, I have not mentioned in this tutorial. Temperature is hotness or coldness of an image, right? hottest or coldness of my image. So I can just make my image a little bit more hot or make it cold, right? Hot or cold. How does that work? Taking it towards the left, which is my cold, making it cool or cooler. You can see the effect. Or too much, of course, is dangerous. Or they're taking towards the side, you can also see the effect. So I just wanted to show you that it's fun, right? Editing. You can play around it, do what you want to do, and make your picture appear more appealing. I'm going to do this mine like this, take my temperature towards the cold side, leave it at -6. Yeah, -6. And then for tilt is just another way that Lightroom gives us way to navigate our colors. Yeah, and you can decide to take it towards the left, which is the green, or towards the right, which is the magenta or purple. Like I mentioned, you must not toggle everything. You must not toggle everything. So yes, for me, this is what we've achieved thus far. Although it was looking like it's a curve here, but ignore this. It's not any. There's no one way to edit in a picture. I can as well say the other. Okay, I want this to come out a little bit and change, a setting or two. Not bad. I think this was basically everything we talked about yesterday. Yeah, I mentioned I didn't touch about color grade, although this color grading basically is highlight the shadows. This is advanced, a little bit advanced, right? I did not touch this. But most importantly, you must understand this is details, sharpening. It's all the blow it boils down to you. So explore the app, download Adobe Lightroom on your phone or your system. I sent it to the Telegram group, and you'll be on the link on the description of this video. Download it, download the Lightroom in your system. Go online. I say go online. Explore the app. Check out all these plenty things. You can even see the noise, lens correction. I did a lens blur where I added blur effect to the picture. Applied, and then when you finish looking, I added the blur effect. So the same thing, I didn't touch on this part. These are a little bit more advanced. I'll just say start with the basic, which is what we just did. And you can see the before and the after. Pressing Y, I see my before and I see my after. And the last thing I did was to add effects. Where is it? Which is effect. I added this vignette effect. Now this is vignette. Can that be left or right? So this is the black or white, and then this is the midpoint where I can change the direction. So what I did was I just reduced it a little bit. Reduce the midpoint. So I have something like this. This is the roundness. You must not touch everything, but you just know what you want to achieve before you dive right into it. So yeah, this is what I got, and I think I mentioned that maybe because they are teeth, you may not. I talked about paper. Sometimes when you increase the color, you realize that they actually are hidden colors. So to avoid plenty, you can as well just keep it down, and nobody will actually notice. And then maybe if it's still looking too much, I'm set to reduce my highlights a little bit. And this is my before, and this is my after. All these images are edited. So any questions you have, show it in the comments or send us here in Telegram. Meanwhile, I give a task and I said, work on any picture and edit it to just edit it anyhow, work around it, and send us the picture on the Telegram group. I'll be expecting your reply. Thank you. I'm done with some stars. I hope to see you another time.